Welcome to the pod, guys. We got a full slate of games to talk about. I love week 2 even more than I love week 1. We're in a groove now. Like, I feel so energized. No Vegas for me and Reed. We got a good night's sleep, full of energy. I'm joined by Macon Gunter and Kyle Long, these two studs to my right. I want to shout out.
Hello!
Yeah. Anywhere?
Lawton, Oklahoma.
Why?
Home of Chip Banks.
Okay. Is that the guy that...
We'll get to him.
Yeah, we'll get to it. Steve
Paul
Gleason.
Alexander.
I want to shout out Steve Gleason, who's another stud, friend of ours. He had to go to the hospital this weekend, and he was just discharged. So shout out to Steve. Hope you're at home with your beautiful family. That's why the Saints lost yesterday. Steve couldn't watch the game. They'll get that handled. Layup line today is going to be Del McCory. Now, if you know Del McCory, we've shouted out Del McCory on this pod before. He's a legend in Appalachia. Does anybody say Appalachia?
The Appalachian region.
Yeah.
People who read it for the first time say
Appalachia.
Yeah, it's Appalachia.
He's a legend in that region. He's from Deep Gap, North Carolina, which by my calculations must be 15, 20 minutes east of Boone, North Carolina. The number one place that I wish I was as I sat there with the kids Saturday night. Meg left town for the weekend. And if she didn't, I would have drove to Boone. I had it map quested and everything. Yeah, I still use the verb map quested.
Luke Combs was there. I saw him there.
I know you were excited.
And I saw on social, he was like, hey, man, just a great Saturday. He was like in a hotel room, and he turned, and then it was Boone, North Carolina, and all of its beauty behind him.
It's
with
gorgeous.
All the people, like game day, it was great.
It's gorgeous. Like, this was a huge win for Boone. Like, huge win for App State, right? Game day, because there's no good games. It was a terrible slate. So Boone inherits a game day, and they make the most of it with a fucking Hail Mary, my favorite thing in the world, short of the goal line. A great way to beat Troy, and they're officially, in my book, America's team. So I was sitting there Saturday when it hit me. This is the closest in the 2022 football season we've had to an America's team. So I started jotting down my top 5 America's teams in America, and we'll do this every Monday.
I like it.
Yeah, dude, I feel like it's got legs.
That's good stuff.
Hey, get it while we can, this whole America thing. But yeah, like, number 1, I'm going App State. They are America's team. Number 2, we got the Detroit Lions at 2. They've been knocking at the doorstep. A manufacturing city. They're the backbone of America. Dan Campbell is an American football coach. Jared Goff is an
American quarterback.
He's an American quarterback. There's a lot of Americans on the team. And we love second chances in America.
They just needed Vegas to believe in them.
Yes, dude. Well, honestly, here's the fucked up part. They were favored for a while for the first time in eons, and then by game time it moved to a pick 'em.
No.
Yeah, so even America's not behind America's team, and we love an underdog story, dude. So I'm going Lions number 2. And number 3, the Buffalo Bills. The Bills feel like, they're red, white, and blue. We love... show me somebody who doesn't like the Bills, that doesn't live in Boston, and I'll show you a foreigner, because they are a fixture in America's team rankings. Dildos. Buffalo Bills and dildos.
Bildos.
Like America and apple pie.
Chicken wings,
tables. What's more American than hurting yourself doing stupid shit at a football game?
Yeah.
After overeating.
Yeah, dude. Like, they're America's team. They're going to be a fixture here. What it would take for them not to be America's team, I don't know. Number 4.
Warmer weather.
I'm going to go. Number 4, I'm going to go Dolphins. The Dolphins are becoming America's team.
Expect us.
Expect us to and on down there in Miami. You're making a run at being an America's team. So I'm going number 4. And then number 5 is a personal pick. Syracuse, the Orangemen. They're America's team because they're funding my kid's college fund right now. The big parlay they helped me win early in the year. Well, it is early in the year against Louisville. And then this week had the over in that Cuse Purdue game. I mean, I thought it was like an easy call. Yeah. The total was 60. It was 9-6 at the half, Kyle. And, I know you're getting into this gambling thing, but that's pretty much you're dead to rights. When you do the math there, 42 points in the fourth quarter. Dino Babers looks like he didn't even mean to do it on the sideline. But I love the Carrier Dome. It's a tough place to play. And
it's
every
now
week,
called something else, by the way.
What is it?
I don't know. They put AC in it, and it's got a new
sucks.
sponsor. Yeah.
I want to give you a shout out though. Before we start the bulk of the pod, just shout out to Chris and shout out to WinBet.
Yeah.
I've never done any sports gambling.
Yep.
I still haven't submitted any bets. What would be like
placed?
I haven't placed any bets.
Yeah, submitted.
But I've browsed a few options. As I did last night, I was browsing and I didn't like the numbers. I ran them last night; they weren't good. But thank you, Chris, for helping me set it up. I now have WinBet on my phone. It's super easy.
Yeah, a lot of people in this studio would imagine that if I was tasked with setting up a WinBet account, it probably wouldn't happen.
Yeah, it was fun though.
Because I'm not real good with the technology, but now you can piss your money away.
Exactly.
And
that's the point. We're just looking for new ways to become broke.
Well, somebody made a good point yesterday. I think it was Kingston. He was like, can it be a write-off in this studio if we lose money? Because we do work for the win. We talk about gambling. So our gambling loss is a write-off. You might want to holler at Ken about that.
There's Twitch streamers that gamble huge millions of dollars every night, and they lose it, they win it, but a lot of it's write-offs. The money that they get from viewership and subscription covers the cost of their losses, and then they can throw that money back in.
I might want to get somebody in here who can answer that question.
We need a CPA, because I think when you lose a bunch of money on gambling, it does affect your taxes.
We need a green light CPA.
Yeah.
You know any?
I know a ton of CPAs.
Okay.
Yeah. Just cycling through those.
Get
guys.
one in here.
What does that stand for?
Certified something accountant. It's either public
accountant.
Public accountant.
Damn, that was a tough one.
We're learning.
Okay, so that's my top 5. I mean, Cuse. I'm not a fan of Cuse this week because they're playing our Wahoos.
They are. Let me hit you with some America's teams.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's my unofficial rankings as of today. Army.
Okay.
Navy.
Okay.
Air Force and Coastal Carolina.
Slurping the troops here.
As we know.
Don't forget Texas A&M.
Coastal Carolina just protecting that North Carolina coast for centuries now. I'll also shout out Georgia Tech, because here in this country, even if we don't have the proficiency, the faculty to do what is needed, we still think we can, doggone it. And the Yellow Jackets have been outscored 183-10 in their last 4 games versus FBS opponents. Granted, those opponents have been ranked number 8, number 1, number 4, number 20. Shout out David Hale for that tweet. Plus 17 looked pretty good against Ole Miss. Nah, not so good. 183-10. The Ramblin' Wreck have been outscored.
We got to do a give it your best tier when it comes to these America's teams, because Hawaii's on the watch list.
Right, watch list, the University of Virginia, which ended a monarchy. You might remember 1776. There was a war, and we beat England, and then Thomas Jefferson wrote the Independence Declaration, and we became the country.
Most people for Thomas
and
Jefferson.
then Virginia this past weekend beats the Old Dominion University monarchy, 16-14.
And the Queen's on the way to wherever she's going right now in the car.
Heaven. It is her funeral.
As we speak, I was looking for NFL news, and I was like, well, the Queen's in a really expensive hearse right now.
And the Chargers. Didn't it feel like the Chargers won the game with that back door?
Dude, the Chargers, I had Chargers money line, and a lot of people are doing victory laps on the Chiefs, and Kyle might, and I think the Chiefs are going to be fine, but Justin Herbert doesn't throw that pick. It's over.
And I texted
a lot of ifs there.
There's just one big if. If Gerald Everett fucking hydrated before the game, maybe threw in a liquid IV.
Do you think they should have pulled him out?
Yeah, dog.
Yes, but if you don't pull him out...
Can I present to you my argument for don't pull him out?
If you don't pull him out, just...
Don't throw it to him.
Don't throw it to him, but if you don't pull him out, give us 4 seconds of fury, dude.
Somebody needs to say, slow down, Staley. We're getting down there. We had an explosive. Let's line up. Get your big guy under center, or get him in the gun, whatever you want to do to get Justin Herbert as an added player in the offense. But you can't chuck it out to a guy who is literally pull me out of the game, please.
And they always say, coaches are always like, hey, if you're tired, and they don't even mean this as an ultimatum. They're like, if you're tired, just tell us, we'll pull you out.
How many guys are on staff, and how many guys are in a Chargers polo
A ton.
at that game.
They
that
saw him.
Should have eyes on him.
They saw him.
And how many means
They
of
saw
communication
him.
do they have with Staley?
They broke their promise.
See, that's crazy to me.
But what's crazier to me is Gerald Everett can't give me 3-4 seconds of just like effort.
Yeah.
But Justin Herbert throwing that ball sidearm doesn't help either. I'm just saying the Chargers, the biggest worry I have about them now is Justin Herbert's ribs. And you know how ribs can feel.
One thing I loved about that game was Zion Johnson and Chris Jones battling.
Oh, yeah.
There's a young star
Yeah.
brewing in Los Angeles, and I love this dude. I had to
BC
practice against Chris Jones last year. Unique combination of 6'6", 290 pounds, runs a 4.7 legit, and the fastest part of the 40 yards is the first 10-yard burst, 5-yard burst. He presents a lot of issues for O-linemen. Zion Johnson competed in the first half. Chris got the better of him in the second. I played in a game like that with a guy named Ndamukong Suh early in my career, and it was a shaping game in my career as a player. I can't wait for the second time they play.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna happen again, and maybe we'll break that down with Bo for Wednesday's show. But yeah, like that feels like a year ago, that game.
Chargers look sweet, constantly disappoint. America's team.
And I'm not. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like all the bells and whistles. Look at our aircraft carriers. Look at all this stuff.
Yep.
I got a couple
Look at our
America's
tall
teams.
buildings.
But inside these walls,
Yeah.
it's a little bit messy.
Give us the America's team.
So obviously the first one's Alabama. People in this country, for whatever reason, need somebody that's like, that's my dad. And
Yeah.
Nick Saban feels like a lot of people's
Everybody's
dads,
dad.
particularly south of the Mason-Dixon. And then you think about the Cowboys, and it's the same kind of effect there with Jerry.
I have them in the communism tier.
But people love the Cowboys. I don't get it. That's an America's team. That's like where
They're
the
gonna put them too.
so
They're literally
Broncos.
called America's team.
Well, Alabama's better than the Cowboys.
Yes, you're right. They are.
They may not generate the same revenue.
Alabama might be better than the Colts.
Yeah,
Some people are
absolutely.
saying.
You're about to name all of Stanford Steve's favorite teams.
Broncos, case in point, Cowboy Reed is sitting behind the camera here, nodding his head. The Broncos, we all loved watching the Broncos. This one's for John.
Yeah.
That's an America's team type moment. Notre Dame, they suck, and everybody loves them. And
You're going straight, John.
they have,
You're taking this very seriously.
and they have the most, like, one of the most players in the NFL on NFL rosters, and they just suck. And they have one of the best O-line coaches in football, Harry Heaston. They blow guys off the ball. And on film,
Love that guy's name, Harry Heaston.
and on film, you're like, these guys should win by 40, and then they're in a nail biter against Cal, and they lose to Alcorn State or whatever the hell it is.
Yep.
So those are my America's teams.
Bury
Kyle
those
took
green
this
jerseys.
He's an unironic exercise by Kyle. And that's my favorite thing, because I was going to talk about Texas A&M next, and I don't know what tier they're going in, but they're in like a tier of America's team is like, do not bet this team.
Cringe.
Because I can't even enjoy betting Texas A&M. I was at the kitchen table Saturday night, and I was like, yeah, Texas A&M is going to cover. Like, this is not going to be a problem. But I can't fucking mash Texas A&M in the WinBet app because of the midnight yell. So I'm going to go red light on the midnight yell. And I'm not the only one. I think most people, it's like they just discovered it this year. I mostly didn't pay attention to it. I remember last year Mark Titus went down there and stood there for the midnight yell. Somebody said he looked like a preppy extra on Yellowstone. Shout out to our guy Mark Titus. But it's just gotten more cringy. I thought for sure the guy that led the midnight yell down there at Kyle Field was going to get like demoted or something the next week. I was like, okay, clearly this guy had an off night. Like, we're going to the bullpen. We're going to get another guy with a military cut and some overalls. But nah, he was back again. Texas A&M.
It was bad.
A&M money line over here. Let me just say that I think that is a classic and gorgeous college football uniform.
Oh yeah.
No stripes. They've gotten rid of the bevels on the logo on the helmet stickers. They've gotten rid of the awful Manziel shoulder
Those
stripe
were terrible.
things.
Leave those in the...
A&M, you look good even if midnight yell's not so good. And you just reminded me of something. I was sent a clip of Titus, and I need to throw one more America's team in. It's whoever lands 4-star guard recruit, Jizzle James.
Jizzle James.
Jizzle James. Jizzle James is son of Edgerrin, and I believe he's Edgerrin Jr. And instead of like an EJ or a junior,
Hence the jizzle
he's Jizzle.
for Junior.
He's Jizzle James.
Wonder
And Titus and Tate did a segment
family
on
name or
Jizzle.
something.
That's
Maybe.
amazing.
Yeah. It was like William Bradford, son Jizzle.
It's unbelievable.
Everything goes back to the Mayflowers. That's
So
Rosillo.
who's in the lead to land Jizzle?
Like Cincy, Georgia, LSU, something like that.
Got it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, this is a bad look for Texas A&M. Bad look for Robert Earl Keen, man. He's a proud Aggie, and I'm just imagining Robert Earl Keen at a midnight yell. Like, I can't. I'm not. I choose not to. Michael Bennett went to Texas A&M.
You would never see Matthew McConaughey at a midnight yell going like you bending his knee like that.
No, dude. Do you think Michael Bennett on his visit went to the midnight yell and was like, "I'm sold"? I cannot. Like,
the
there's not a weird
yell.
There's that. Yeah, he is like so anti midnight yell. It's incredible.
Those coaches have to know not to take recruits to midnight yell.
I don't know, but
Like
I thought Jimbo has to go to that thing at like 11:30.
Oh, he does?
I think I
I didn't
saw him like
realize
at the thing. Did the coaches show up to the midnight yell?
Virginia took a basketball recruit to the Foxfield races one year.
Yeah.
That guy did not attend UVA.
Yeah, Foxfield's not bad though. If you're drunk, if you're with your coaches.
If you're Devontae Graham
If
and
you're a
deciding
white
between
drunk
Kansas
guy
and
at
Virginia,
Foxfield.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like,
going to
where
Kansas.
am I?
Yep. So yeah, I thought they'd replace that guy. Midnight Yell is pretty cringy, and we found out today it's not Texas A&M, Texas Agriculture, and I always thought like military because they're kind of doing a pseudo military thing. They're
I thought
like kind of
ag
a
and
military
medicine.
school.
everybody knows it's agricultural and mechanical.
Yeah, well, first you said mining.
I might have said mining.
Minecraft. He was,
I said mining. I
Okay.
thought
That's
it was
pretty good.
mining.
What do y'all do down there? I mean, it is just 25,000 people at midnight is insane. It's just what you're doing with them. You have the resources. Let's like clean it up a bit. And then UVA ODU, we settled the dog thing. That made national news. I had people fucking tweeting about me like I was supposed to pull some strings and get their service dog on the sideline.
Yeah.
Initially, there was a mix-up. We thought it was a mascot, right? Or you can't have two mascots. What happened?
Can you break
there?
this down for me?
Can you break it down, Meg?
I managed not to read any of the articles that went national this week because you don't really want to be on the wrong side of puppies.
Yeah.
Like allowing a puppy to watch a football game. But yeah, spoiler: the puppy made it to the field.
I
so
offered to have the puppy come to my house.
relax. They put ski goggles on that dog.
I don't think he likes that.
probably
Did anybody
ruining
ask
the
that?
dog's vision.
Yeah,
That's
did
one of
anybody
my
ask the
favorite
dog?
looks, by the way.
For the rest of his
dogs
life.
with ski
Dogs
goggles.
with sunglasses and shit.
Dogs with ski goggles in particular, like dogs that are working on a mountain or something, like like a Malinois or something that's in a rescue mission. I think that looks cool.
The dog's name's Hudson. Hudson should be like your 4-year-old white kid.
Yeah.
Hudson's not a dog.
I'm gonna zag here and say I'm really pissed that we caved to Big Puppy. Because there's like that would have been pretty hardcore if we were just like, nope, you can't bring your service dog.
Here's what I was worried about.
What?
That the dog was going to be like in the parking lot,
Yeah.
which is right next to the tunnel.
Yeah.
And then ODU wins.
And then the dog runs
And then
on
they
the
run
field,
the
dude.
dog out and like shits, pisses.
Yes.
It would have been a bad scene.
Yes, dude.
Fortunately, we allow the dog
Yes.
and then win the game at the end.
Yeah,
As
and I
I'm
hope
sure
the dog saw
nation
that
knows.
last drive, service dog and all. I hope it had a good seat. And then we had I made the play sheet again. What do you call those things? The play cards, the play posters?
Placards.
Placards?
I think you can go play card or placard.
Rod Carricker made another one. I guess Virginia has a play in their playbook. They also have a Big Cat one. So they have me, Big Cat, and I'm wondering what the fuck the play is.
Well, you see it's visible from the stands.
Yeah.
So it might literally be
a dummy
just
thing.
blocking
Yeah.
the booth's vision down to
Yeah.
the sideline.
Yeah, this is 2 weeks in a row.
be
I just want to
personnel.
know, is it a play? Is it a personnel thing? Is it what would it be? If I was a play, what would I be?
If you were a play, I'd have my rush ends in. I would have all my speed
offense,
guys
though.
in.
Yeah.
Okay, offense.
What
then.
offensive play?
Then we're spreading them out. We're gonna go downtown Julie Brown. But if I got the Big Cat on the sign, I'm gonna be like heavy,
Yeah.
23,
Yeah.
and then all the big suckers come running in, and you got to get gritty when the Big Cat sign comes out.
You would be a duo. You said duo.
power with no pullers.
You would be power with no pullers. If I see you on a fucking, you better.
I just
put,
want to be like Zach Martin.
big personnel in there, and then Macon. I was thinking you'd be like an RPO or something.
Oh, thanks.
Very popular online, like very popular online.
Bubble screen.
Very smart, like very like progressive football.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you're like caveman football. You're progressive football,
Both work.
and I'm probably like a fumbled snap or something.
No. You're like all go routes.
I'll
Just,
go routes.
yeah.
Just throw it up there.
Yeah.
I'm Tua. So let's get into these fucking games, dude. Let's get into the slate because we had we had a bunch of good ones, not as many as last week, but I mean a pretty good slate. We had 3 big comebacks, and that's how we wanted to start the show. I think there's no bigger comeback than the Dolphins comeback. I mean, there's a ton of stuff you can look at yesterday to tell you how rare a comeback like that is. So on one hand, if you're a Dolphins fan, you're super psyched because you have that firepower. If you're a Ravens fan, you're probably nervous about the secondary. We can talk about that in a second. You're excited about, Tua obviously played really well yesterday, but not something you want to get. Yeah, well, I'm not going to be the one to say it.
I thought it was uneven. Fourth quarter was electric.
Fourth quarter was great.
As a plus 3.5 better of the Miami Dolphins, he misses a lot of throws.
He misses some throws, and I'm going to lead with the positive here because obviously I'm in the crosshairs for saying he doesn't throw the deep
and
ball.
I'm in 2-on, so
You're in
cool.
2-on, even though you kind of joined the club in the first half. We were texting, and you were like, I don't know, man. But, like, he was, if you do the CPE, completion percentage over expectation or whatever, you drop the O in the acronym, I guess. He was minus 14 in the first half. So, 2 picks in the first half. They weren't great. You don't want to get used to having to do this, but it is really nice to know you can do this. And for Baltimore, a lot of times teams give up a ton of yards when teams are in perpetual 2-minute. Baltimore's defense, the secondary, I mean, they just got Peters back. Humphrey wasn't practicing all week. He had to mix it up, move into the slot a little bit because they lose Kyle Fuller. You've got the young guys struggling at corner, and Kyle Hamilton had a really rough game. So that secondary is tough, and when you pair that with the fact that they don't have guys that just win one-on-ones with regularity. I mean, Owe is an exciting guy. They've got a couple players up front, but they haven't been the type of team in the past since, Suggs and them that just has a bunch of guys that wins one-on-ones. And when you're in 2-minute mode on defense, if your back end's inexperienced or young and you can't win rushes when you have to and you have to manufacture pressure, it's going to be a long day. And Baltimore had opportunities. When you start on the, at home and you get that kickoff return for a touchdown and, Dolphins spot them 7 on the road because of special teams, you're supposed to win that game. The running back production was terrible. Short yardage hurt them a lot. Like, they had to get fucking fancy in short yardage. They fumble early in the game, up 7-0. They get a chance to go up 14-0 at home. Like, who knows how different that game is. And then late, you have a 3rd and short. This is the one with 9 minutes to go, I think it was, when they have a chance to bust this game open and go up 21. 3rd and short, the fucking DBs are playing 10 yards off. Check a bubble screen or something. Instead, you end up in 4th and short because your running backs aren't real good. You haven't been able to be great in short yardage. And in 4th and short, you don't get it. So not to mention the 4th downs, but the next possession, you're 3 and out, and then it's a deep ball immediately. And what happened before the deep ball for the touchdown? You drop a pick. So you have so many opportunities right down to the last drive where with 4 minutes to go in plus territory, the old Ravens team would ice this game. So they need J.K. Dobbins back bad. And the Edmonds run on the final drive was the backbreaker. Because as soon as you give up that long run to Edmonds, you just had a feeling the way the game was going that Tua was going to pull this thing out. And he was fucking good yesterday. I'm not jumping on some Tua top 10 quarterback bandwagon. My take, I asked Reed, what would you say my take's been? That he's not a great deep ball thrower and he's a middle-of-the-pack quarterback. Yesterday, he proved me wrong on the second one. I need to see more when it comes to the deep ball. I mean, you drop a coverage on the left sideline, and, I might have been able to make that throw after a softball game. But the deep ball to Tyreek, even if he had to slow up, I'll give it to you. That's 60 yards. So whether it's Mike McDaniel or it's Tua getting torque back or whatever it is, he looks good, and the throws you have to make are the ones he made in the red zone. 3rd and 13 to Gesicki. He had another 3rd down where he basically spun out. I mean, this, the meme, if, the internet joke that if Patrick Mahomes makes this play, it's a big deal. He rolled out, broke contain, and hit a touchdown to how the fuck do you say this guy's name? Craycraft.
Craycraft or Craycraft?
Craycraft.
River Craycraft.
Craycraft. I love saying that.
Craycraft.
So, yeah, Craycraft. So, Tua was good in the red zone. A ton of yak. Both guys were over 70 yards, Yak, Waddle, and Tyreek. We said it'd be a yaktery. And the most impressive thing, and we talked about this, is seeing Ingle block on that reception out of the end zone taking a dude for a ride 20 yards, converting to being blockers at the second level. The screen on the first Waddle touchdown, 14 gets a block. Left tackle, right, the left guard, left tackle are out there creating a seam for this guy. McDaniel's a good football coach, man. So I'm buying, and we've been buying the Dolphins as a playoff team. They're a playoff team.
Yeah, I'm definitely buying the Dolphins. And the thing that stood out to me yesterday big time was their ability to take punches. Lamar Jackson, the price of the brick went up yesterday for Lamar Jackson. The dude is a fucking monster.
Yeah.
I mean, like, a former teammate of mine tweeted yesterday, his name is Lamar Jackson.
He is him.
He is Himothy. Hemi Neutron.
Yeah, Hemi Neutron.
But back to serious football talk here. You talk about the turning point being the 3rd and 2 and then the 4th and 1, turnover on downs. Nothing is more demoralizing for an offense than having to walk your fucking sorry ass back off the field. Knowing you have the MVP at quarterback and knowing you didn't do enough to get a first down when you need it and to put the team away, you cannot leave Miami's Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Mike McDaniel and Tua's little yak throw. You can't leave them an opportunity to have those at the end. And then Tyreek at the end just running by people. I have so many questions about sense of urgency on the back end, all that kind of stuff. And maybe it's because they were lulled to sleep on the underneath throws that turned into yak. You
lot
said
of underneath stuff,
82 yak for Jalen, 72 yak for Tyreek, 190 and 170 respectively for those two. Those are huge numbers, and not all of them came over the top. So I can see where you would fall asleep on the back end, but my God, you got to be awake.
And that's all he's got to do. If he can he was efficient throwing the deep ball yesterday. He was efficient.
And they weren't even great deep ball throws, but he was like Daniel Boone
Kyle.
in the
Kyle, you have a security system.
Hear me out.
Do you have a security system
hear me
in your
out.
house?
They weren't tremendous deep throws, but they were good enough to find Daniel Boone out there in the wild frontier all by himself, which is Tyreek Hill.
You are really into the Revolutionary War era references lately. That Lewis and Clark book has you fucking in a pretzel.
Stephen Ambrose.
I went for a float on Friday. I went for a kayaking trip, and Kyle responded. Lewis and Clark did that was impressive. Lewis and Clark, they averaged 15 miles a day. So Kyle's he's an avid reader. And
you did 20 miles on the river. 18. That's fucking crazy.
Too much. That's too much. Okay, anybody out there is thinking about doing this? Too much. But I want to say this, man. Like when you're at home and a team's mounting a comeback like that. It can be really awkward in that stadium. Like you know how it is. Like at a college game, you've watched Virginia give up a bunch of yards in the second half, and just the atmosphere. If you don't believe in momentum, and I said this yesterday, there's some people that don't believe in momentum, right? Momentum's just confidence, which absolutely exists. And once Tua started playing with it, and that's why Waddle talks him up. That's why Tyreek talks him up, and I love that, dude. He is one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league when he's running that offense. A couple of those balls early, the picks were not great, but I'm happy for Tua. I really am. I know it's been sort of a bit, but he seems like a great kid.
Seems like a chill motherfucker. Seems like a guy I'd love to play for. And he's lefty. And he looks
responding.
Great. Yeah.
That's the big thing.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Waddle.
Waddle who?
Waddle I do without you. 19 targets. Because that's what it was. It was sending one dude on a go and somebody else underneath. And that's how they were getting the back end's eyes elsewhere.
A million go routes.
Knock, knock.
Supposedly Waddle had more yards on go routes than he did all last year.
Gasecki who?
Gasecki can't
Gasecki can win with this team.
Oh, God. Nice. That's awful. Hey, low-key, Justin Tucker does hit a field goal to put the Ravens up 38-35 with 2 minutes to go. So I think that was one of the most impressive parts. They then go 6 plays, 68 yards, 2 minutes to win the football game.
It was a great drive. Tua had a great day. They ran these fucking DBs. These DBs were like Forrest Gump running across the country last night or yesterday. I mean, they ran for over these guys. These are some next gen stats I get. 6,000 plus yards of running on the back end. Do the math there. That's miles. That's like 5 miles or something.
Dolphins.
Or 3 miles. It's 3+ miles. It's almost 4 miles, dude. These guys are out there doing a 10K.
Dolphins home for the Buffalo Bills, week 3.
Yeah, so this is the big. And what are we going to guess that the line's going to be there? Probably the Bills by, 4 or 6.
I think it depends what happens Monday night, but yeah, 5.5,
6.5.
Yeah,
and that's the real test because Miami has joined the pack, man. Miami's in the pack, but are they the Chiefs, the Chargers? Are they the Bills? Are they an AFC elite? I need to see more, and I think that's fair.
The real question that was answered for them with the addition of Tyreek Hill and the maturation of Tua Tagovailoa is
nice.
Fourth quarter, we've all been on teams with quarterbacks where we say this lead is too much.
Mm-hmm.
There's not enough time. We don't have the firepower. These fucking guys are running out to the huddle during the TV timeout before the drive, and they're like, let's go down and score quick. We're in this game. And I've been in a huddle like that before with a really successful offense, and there's no feeling like it, where it's like, I don't care what they line up in, who they blitz, what they bring. We got guys for this.
And for the Ravens, not being able to move the ball or possess the football in the second half just compounds that whole thing.
Sick Jeezy, Mike McDaniel can now say, remember when we were down 35-14 in the fourth quarter?
Oh, for sure. He's going to be talking
use
about
that for years.
For years. And another thing is Gesicki. The price went up on Gesicki because the Packers, I still think they go get him. I mean, that's just me. Like, I'm not the GM. I'm not Brian G. But I just, like, you need one more guy. They barely threw the ball to him week one. He actually played a pretty decent part in that win.
My guy, Big Bob Tunyon's just getting healthy.
I understand, but you need another receiver. You need another receiver, and I don't think of Gesicki as a tight end.
That's fair.
I think add a guy like Gesicki, you can move him around. I'm not going to beat that take to death, but just in case they make the move, you heard it here.
Decent gritty.
Kyle, you mentioned the fourth quarter. 2 in the fourth was 13 of 17, 199, 4 touchdowns, a 154.2 passer rate.
If you were to switch the names Tua and put Patrick Mahomes in there, people wouldn't be surprised by those numbers.
Right, exactly.
Because
some of the throws he made in traffic.
What are the Chiefs' biggest wins in the last 4 or 5 years since Pat came in the league have been come from behind games, 15 plus, 13 plus points, and they just boom, 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 4 touchdowns in the fourth.
Boom, boom, boom.
There you go.
Boom.
Since 2011, teams were 0-711 when trailing by 21 plus in the fourth quarter.
So here's the thing. We've got a victory lap if you're a Miami fan, but we've also got to, let's not do this a lot, because if we find ourselves in this situation again, statistically, it's not going to happen, right?
The safeties will be there.
Let's play a complete game in phase, make the throws the first half. Hey, big day for Tua. Hey, 2-on. I'm not going to submit, but you guys won that one.
Congrats.
Sure. Congratulations.
You'll be 2-2 in 2 weeks.
You're a playoff team. Going to have to deal with y'all into January. Okay, the other comeback was Vegas and the Cards. And, man, 20-0 at one point. I think as a rusher watching Kyler Murray, it's one of those things that I'm maybe a little early superlative here would be viewing party, being a Raiders defensive lineman and watching tape this morning and being sore as hell from chasing this guy and hearing your D-line coach say, upfield shoulder. There is no upfield shoulder, dude. You rush his upfield shoulder.
Yeah, so what do you mean by upfield shoulder?
Upfield shoulder is what they tell an edge guy. You your aiming point should be the upfield shoulder of the quarterback. So, like for me, if a quarterback dropped to 9 as the left end, my job is to be at 9 yards, his upfield back shoulder.
So if it's Kyler Murray, you want to be on his right shoulder.
If it's Kyler Murray, I'm not sprinting directly at him. I'm basically playing zone defense as I rush him because he's going to bail out the back of the pocket. He had the ball 20-something seconds on that 2-point conversion.
Stupid.
I mean, let's see. How many yards did he run? He ran 84 yards. What do you want these defensive linemen to do? And you rush 3 slow guys. Don't rush 3 slow guys in the red zone against Kyler Murray. I know, 3-man rush in the red zone's a big thing. Don't do that. So big win for them. I mean, they were on death's door. I don't know what would have happened if they lost this game in a blowout. But him going back to AJ Green after those 2 drops in the back of the end zone was big time. And I got a feel for Max Crosby because he had him dead to rights late in that game, and that would have been curtains. Ends up with a holding call on the back end, the Raiders do, that extends that drive, and you know what happens next. So the hold, I think, came after the Crosby miss sack, which is he knows he wants that back, but Kyler Murray tackling him is a motherfucker. So
the Raiders were 39-0 all time when leading by 20-plus points at halftime prior to Sunday. The 20-0 lead was also the largest blown lead in franchise history. Howie Long out there ain't giving up no 20-0 leads.
I don't know. Howie Long wouldn't want to catch Kyler Murray. Howie Long lamented catching John Elway.
He really did. He talks about it.
He's always like, man, Chris,
that guy could fucking run like a deer.
I know some people remember the 90s. Yeah, he's deceptive.
Not even deceptive.
No, just you should have seen him in the 80s. Well, imagine rushing Kyler Murray, upfield shoulder, that cat. So The biggest shame for me is
an engaged and interested Kyler Murray.
Yes, and the worst part was like Fortnite dropped yesterday. I guess
I know
the new Call of Duty.
Yeah, Call of Duty
beta, Modern Warfare 2.0, and if you're out there listening, Modern Warfare 2.0, I would love to play it. I'm on PC. I know I got to wait till November.
Oh, the beta stage.
It's a beta stage.
It's like
I am also
stage.
A content creator, so let us know.
We'd
love to try out.
You're also a beta.
I am a beta.
with that America's.
Can I segue beta? Can I segue beta here into what I have to say about the beginning of the game?
Please, can't wait.
You do a beta segue.
We all know how the beginning of the game is indicative of a coach's game plan and a player's ability to take it to the field. Cardinals' first 4 possessions, 3 punts and a pick. Raiders come out, 4 scoring possessions, boom, boom, boom. I love boom, 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 by the way.
Oh, yeah.
That is the difference between 2 coaches. I'm not buying Cliff Kingsbury, but what the final score shows me is that the right players are on the field for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And whoever's writing up the first 15, whoever's making a plan, whoever has to make adjustments, it's falling on the shoulders of Kyler Murray, and he's running around for 30 seconds before he has to make a throw.
That's right. And I mean, it's really tough to defend. And like, what do you say to guys when you get to the sideline? I mean, like, I said it at the end of the game because they win despite themselves. We were doing the live stream and they're driving to score, and it reads like, what do you think happens? I go, they're going to score and they're going to miss the 2-point conversion because they're going to do something dumb. And as soon as they scored, they fucking had a delay of game. And I'm like, there it is. That's Cardinals football for you. But no, Cardinals football is finding.
We won it at the 8.
Yeah, we won it at the 8, dude. Like, Kyler wants more space. So you end up in overtime. Duron Harmon made a great play on 4th down. I was so hyped for him. It's one of those things where that fell through the cracks that Duron was in. He wasn't even supposed to be playing. He's in Vegas. He's a former teammate of mine in New England. A great guy. He makes that play. I'm learning Duron's on the Raiders. I'm thinking he makes the play of the game. I'm excited. But they get the ball back, and Hunter Renfrow fumbles twice in a row. And, you know, you hurt for that guy because he's always dependable. And, you know, that's just one of those sequences he's going to want back. Isaiah Simmons made a big play punching that ball out.
Clemson crime.
Clemson on Clemson crime. And then the Edwards kid picks the ball up and damn near does a Leon Lett.
Yo, dog, I never saw the true down the goal line angle of that. I don't know if they had it. I think you always have it now, but it looked like they didn't have it.
Well, maybe they're hiding it because he didn't get in.
I don't know how long y'all kept it on for the live stream because Cliff was kind of scared to keep celebrating with everybody. He was trying to get everybody into the locker room while they looked at that thing for about 5 minutes.
That's some scary shit.
That is the scariest shit.
I mean, wow, dude. Wow. Have we heard enough? There's enough horror stories here.
And then it was call on the field stands. I mean, the official probably couldn't catch up with them. No, I don't think anybody saw it. I think it was very close. So
the Raiders are in trouble, man. The Raiders are in trouble.
0-2.
And the hardest part about this is you made a change, you know? And in the preseason, we heard all about this, like clean football and all this stuff, no penalties. They got to fix it, man. They got to fix it. They don't have a lot of time in that division. That's about as bad a division to be 0-2 in. And they got to do it.
I reckon everybody's favorite game, the most likely 0-2 team to make the playoffs, you'd probably say Bengals over Raiders. You think Raiders are in a bad spot?
I do think they're in a bad spot. I'm not going to panic about the Bengals. We can talk about that in a second. But, like, who else is 0-2 that's...
It's not a great list. Carolina is 0-2. You got the Colts are winless.
Yeah, that's...
I haven't seen enough, but, I mean, are they better than the Jags?
Right.
I mean, are they going to win that division?
Jags are going to the Super Bowl, bro.
Jags are fucking awesome, okay? Like,
I'm a Jags fan.
You know what? Take Syracuse off my America's team list and put the Jacksonville Jaguars. Nothing is more American than having a pool
Shad Khan
that's littered with pathogens in your stadium.
Yeah.
And people are swimming in it. Do you know about this? You don't know about the pool in Jacksonville, Kyle?
I'm aware of that.
Okay, good. That's an American good time.
It's great.
So, like, I'm going to put the Jacksonville Jaguars. Syracuse.
It's like the hot tub at the Arizona Diamondbacks field. You know, you used to try to hit it into.
There was a hot tub at the Arizona Diamondbacks field?
I'm pretty sure in center field there's it's either the Diamondbacks
that
or one of those
right.
teams.
People pissing in that thing?
Dude, they're out there in jeans, like in the hot tub. Bro. There's a guy with boots on.
So red light, green light pools and hot tubs. I mean, why not? Let the people at their own risk.
Water's good.
I'll go Cleveland and the Jets this last comeback. Let's talk about that real quick. I mean, there was a clock management issue.
Oh, Chubb goes down instead of scoring to go up 30-17. They miss extra point. If he just goes down, they can run out the clock.
Who would have thought the Browns would suffer an unhappy ending because Chubb wouldn't go down?
An unhappy ending because Chubb wouldn't go down. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And did you see the tailgate yesterday? These people are leaning all the way into it like they're fucking in OJ mode right now. The glove don't fit. You must have quit. They got guys with big fake boners under towels.
That was unbelievable.
At tailgates, they've got the big dick, the guy with the big dick that went viral over the pandemic.
They say happy endings are not illegal.
You know the guy with the big... Yeah,
no, did you see this?
Like literally, depending on the state you're in, it's quite illegal. But you know, like
there's kids posing by like a,
oh my
a dummy
God.
with a bone.
If I look back at my childhood photos and I was at a tailgate like that with my parents, I would kill my parents. I'd be like the Menendez brothers.
And we go to a basketball game that night.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it was RG3. He gave a big Penix energy in the Washington-Michigan State broadcast. Quarterback's name's Penix.
That's amazing.
Bro, the week before he said there's an orgy in the end zone.
Yeah. Big sex.
Who would have thought
RG3.
RG3 was a sex freak?
Mark Sanchez yesterday said, or Saturday, he said that receiver cleared out of there faster than he clears his search history.
It was an offensive lineman, I think.
Something like that. I was
He
like,
said
where to go,
teenager
Mark?
search history.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark. I mean, like adults
That was great.
too.
That was great.
Adults too here.
I was like, more adults.
Yeah, Mark. So Cleveland, Chubb just has to go down. Kyle,
Yeah,
you
so,
said, like,
okay.
You talk about that.
We have every week in the NFL, we have meetings where we talk about end of EOH, EOG, end of half, end of games, clock management situations. And the better the team you are, the more attention to detail they pay to it. And I remember the first time I really got a feel for it was when Matt Nagy came from Kansas City to the Bears. And then when I went to Andy Reid last year, it was like even more so prevalent. In that situation, a first down wins the game. That's how you say it. First down wins the game, guys.
Yeah.
First down, get down.
Yep.
And we didn't see that, and it cost them the game.
Second layup line, get down, Nas.
Get down.
Yeah, second layup. Send that one to Nick Chubb because
Great song.
They need every win they can get in this stretch. They were lucky to get one last week. They have an easy first 6 games. Everybody talked about how like this is the easiest first 6 game stretch. This is why you don't take anything for granted. Joe Flacco last week, who almost got benched for a guy named Mike White in New York. They were chanting for Mike White, goes on the road and beats the Browns. So nothing is for certain with the Browns. And whenever Deshaun Watson gets back, they're going to have their work cut out for him.
Home Steelers on Thursday, then at Falcons. That could have been 4-0 with Jacoby.
Right, but I don't know now that I look at the Falcons and the Steelers.
I agree.
Are nothing to sneeze at either. So, 2,229 wins in this very situation in a row in the NFL. They're 0.3. You like the win percentage things? 0.3 win percentage, 30-17 with 155 left. This is my favorite type of game. We had an onside kick. Improbable comeback.
Onside kick to the left.
Especially when it happens to the opposite of put a Browns massage tier for America's teams. No, it's way down there. What do you mean? The Browns. We hate the Browns because of Deshaun Watson.
Right. Bad. Okay.
Bad. Massage.
I thought massages were like
No, massage down at the bottom.
S tier.
Creepy.
Okay,
Creepy.
there you go.
Creepy is the tier. We're going
like
to put
that.
Urban Meyer and the Browns in creepy tier.
There's a lot of this.
Yeah. Yeah, that fucking elf at midfield with everything about this. They have become the biggest creep show organization. The tailgates, the elf logo with his weird take my strong hand energy.
Like that guy.
You like him. So
What's his name? Brownie?
Brownie. He used to do chores. That was you were here on that pod, right? No,
sir.
So you want to know what happened back in the day in Northern England? Is that it? You like Anglophile and shit. Northern England. They used to go to bed and they said this brownie guy would come out and do chores for him, this little elf. So like in the morning you wake up and your shit would be all in order. You have your blacksmith tools just laid out there on the table.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is that true?
That's true, and you had to leave fresh cream out for the brownie to thank him. And if you didn't leave fresh cream out, he would curse you. So your house would be cursed. You wouldn't get any chores done ever.
Like a Santa cookie situation.
That's right.
What did he do with the cream? What kind of cream? Like cream and clear?
Yeah, what did they do?
Like,
with
is he
cream?
consuming the cream
He's
or is he
consuming,
using the cream
Yeah, I
for
think he's just
other
drinking the
consuming
cream. I think that's what he
chores?
runs on, cream.
Okay.
So yeah, the fucking Browns, man.
They forgot the cream.
They forgot the cream. That's it. They did.
And Joe Flacco
Joseph Vincent Flacco.
He said it was really weird because how quiet it got here. That's something I've never heard before. It was so loud, and all of a sudden there was silence.
That's beautiful. It's the best sound in football.
That's a guy who's been everywhere in the football world, and he hasn't seen that yet.
That's the best sound in football, winning on the road. And Garrett Wilson, because it's louder than winning at home for the Jets. So Garrett Wilson, and also congratulations to all the New York teams. They all won for the first time in like eons,
That's awesome.
including the Mets, the Yankees. This is a good weekend for America.
All
right?
rise.
So yeah, and Garrett Wilson playing big and like seemingly, maybe he pans out, maybe he doesn't, but this is a good start. And Joe Douglas, I feel for him because Mekhi Becton got hurt, your quarterback got hurt. You need the defensive end and the wide receiver to have a good year. Cincy Dallas, okay? There wasn't a comeback here, unfortunately. I've lost in a game, I think it was last year. Was that last year with the Vikings and Cooper Rush? I lost money on that game, so I wasn't going to bet the fucking Bengals
Now
here.
I have to.
It was a lot of points. You bet the Bengals.
Yeah.
Damn.
And you told me not to beforehand.
Okay.
And I did.
Well, I'll just say this. Cooper Rush can keep them in ball games. I know I said I think the Cowboys will be out of it. I don't believe in the Cowboys, okay? I'm not changing my tune. This game says as much about the Bengals as it does about the Cowboys. But Cooper Rush showed the trust that they have in him. He made 2 big throws that bookended the game, both to this guy, Noah Brown. The first one on 4th and 2.
From their own
midfield,
44.
Their own 44. They're going to roll out there like they got, like they got some. Mike McCarthy turned into an internet coach.
2 minutes into the game, it's 0-0. Drive number 1.
Good for Cooper Rush.
Fuck it, we're going.
And it wasn't a check down.
Dude, I think he's like a top half quarterback right now.
Top half.
Betting against Cooper Rush was terrifying.
Yeah, dude, I'm not doing
He's
it.
in control.
I'm not, he's in
I
control.
picked the Cowboys yesterday.
You picked the Cowboys yesterday.
Good pick.
I went perfect yesterday, actually, on my pick segment with CBS.
Did you really?
And I owe
Is this the most proud pick you have?
No, I owe it to my history of playing and blocking for backup quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And I know the attention to detail that goes into the building.
Good point.
During a week where you have your star player like a Dak Prescott get injured, and you know that everybody's got to be on their P's and Q's. You're down a left tackle, a generational left tackle.
Yeah.
There's things that need to be done differently this week in practice. And even Zeke Elliott said, this guy knows his shit.
Yeah.
When Coop comes in, he knows his shit. That's like verbatim what he said. Like, he comes in, we're not worried about it. Pick them because of that. You come out yesterday and you're like, wow, Cincinnati does have some real issues. And wow, Cooper Rush can win for the Cowboys. Yeah,
since he has real issues, I'm not going to panic on them. I mean, like, listen, in preseason, and I got the Ravens to win the North. I have the Bengals going to the playoffs. This is a regression to the mean partially because they were a 10-7 team last year. They had these problems last year, and it didn't stop them from going to the Super Bowl, but they seem to be getting worse up front. I think a lot of it is, new offensive line across the board, right? You go on the road, big test. You played a really multiple defense the first week who had like TJ Watt for most of the game, Highsmith, all those guys. They got after you. A totally different challenge this week. You had a bunch of guys that can just go, and one of them is like a fucking alien. And Dallas got after him, but Burrow, the appendectomy, all these guys trying to work with one less preseason game than you're used to. I mean, you 3 preseason games these days in the NFL. I think it's going to take time, unfortunately, and it's not a cushion that they want to give in the AFC, but they're going to have to. The offensive line played bad. La'el Collins, I like the signing, but you got to help him more. And he's got to play better. Not just the sack that he gave up to Micah Parsons, which was, listen, and this is an offensive tackle. He's turned. I watched it 15 times in here last night. I go, oh my God, La'el Collins has turned to the sideline at 3.5 yards. He's turned to the end zone at 4 yards.
So by his third kick, La'el's already opened up, and that's just by nature of the fact that he's going against a Ferrari on the edge.
He's happened to see whiz by him in practice a bunch.
No, you're absolutely right. So and I didn't even think about that.
Think about one-on-one pass rush, the guys that you're like, I hope I don't play him one day.
You're so right. You're so right.
he's like, fuck, he's coming to town. I said I was Joe Burrow's bodyguard. It's not going well. on that sack, he's turned to the end zone for people that, like, if you can get an offensive tackle turned, the whole game changes for you as a rusher. And usually offensive tackles turn because of speed.
It's like, okay, so imagine if I'm trying to guard Chris at the top of the key in basketball.
Oh, you would get this
Chris.
word.
So if Chris is right-handed, he wants to go to my left. He wants to take it with his right hand. Yeah. Now imagine if I position my body this way on Chris. Chris is right here. Now he knows he can go. He can go this way really easily.
He's turning his shoulders.
That's what opening the door for a tackle does, and that's tough to see, and it's even tougher against Micah Parsons, who can threaten with speed, and he can put his foot in the ground as we've seen time and time again, and get back underneath.
So he wins underneath because he's turned sideways, running full speed to the end zone, and so is Micah Parsons. So imagine being in a race to the end zone with Micah Parsons, and all Micah Parsons has to do is stop, and he does at 5 yards. And then beats him again on the recovery. So, you had that. You had, false start on 3rd and 8 that Lael Collins was guilty of that turns into 3rd and 13. And this was indicative of, the Bengals' attitude yesterday. They had to, in the second half, just hope to get to 3rd and manageable. They were trying to work the run game. But on 3rd down, the same problems that happened in the first half happened in the second half. I mean, on 3rd and 13, last year's Joe Burrow is going to be, taking shots. He's going to be trying to – they had to check down, dude. In the first half, they turned Parsons loose on 3rd and 4. Like, what are you doing? They give up a blindside sack. You really struggled with penalties. Sample got whooped. You had false starts. You had the other O-lineman get – and we're not even talking about the other guys, but it's just – they also had chances to win. At the end of the first half, it was a 10-point swing if Hilton picks that ball off and goes for 6. It would have been a tremendous play, but these are the plays you got to make. And then late, we dropped 2 more picks, Hubbard and Hilton. And the defense played well in the second half. Hubbard played great. Like, Hubbard really looks good, dude.
I like Reeder a lot.
Those 2 ends played well. So the defense, man, although they missed some chances, it's not on them. What it is on is the offense, and they got to hurry up and get it together. And I'm not going to put it all on the O-line because Joe Burrow doesn't look great. Joe Burrow does not look like Joe Burrow right now, and he would tell you that.
He lost weight. He does. He literally looks smaller.
Yeah.
At the moment, Kyle leading the witness here, but I give you 4 other dudes on the offensive line you've played with for 5 years who are B-level players. I assume you're taking that over a Pro Bowl offensive line that you've been with for 2 weeks.
Yeah, for example, when I went to the Senior Bowl after playing at Oregon, I had played 1 full year with one group of guys, and then you go to the Senior Bowl, and albeit they may be all-stars in their own right in their division, when you come together, it's 5 guys who have never played together before.
How quick can it come together?
It's going to take 4 to 5 weeks of live speed because you can't simulate game speed, right, Chris? I mean, we can practice until the cows come home, but you're never really going to pin your ears back, and I'm never going to try to finish a guy. That stuff happens in these games, especially when you're playing against superstars like Micah Parsons. But the stuff I have issue with, it's not an effort thing with the Bengals. It's not and these guys are professionals. They're going to work hard. But when I go look at the tape from week 1, and I'm going to take a deeper look at this tape from a protection standpoint, I see technical issues. Like Jonah Williams took a great set against Highsmith in week 1. Great set. The one thing he didn't do is stab his left hand. I love Jonah Williams' game. I think he's a great athlete. He finishes elite rushers. That got Highsmith to chop, stack, sack. Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, it's a reoccurring theme. They try to pull the left guard to trap T.J. Watt last week. He doesn't get there because there's trash on the deuce block. The puller never gets there. T.J.
It's compounding.
These are the things that you see in film, and the O-line coach says, guys, we're 1 block away. We're 1 guy away. We have a touchdown here if we have a half a second.
That happens so much in meeting rooms.
Yeah.
Like, hey, guys, we just didn't take advantage of this.
They may be
thing.
closer than we think.
I know those routes are out there. Boyd and Higgins didn't get a lot of touches early. They came on late. And for 1 drive, Joe Burrow looked like Joe Burrow. And the reason I love Joe Burrow, there's no quarterback I'd rather have when the chips are down. And the chips are down for them because Joe Burrow has a short memory. He does not care. There was 1 drive late in the game when they tied it up that he looked like Joe Burrow. It's in there, dude. It's not like one of these things where somebody lost his fastball. Maybe the offensive line needs to do the thing where they gather in a room and say a fact about each other.
Yeah.
Do that. It always works in the business world.
They need to go to a panic room.
Just do it. No, like one of those, like the
with Micah
room.
Parsons.
They need to go to an escape room. They need to do like a corporate day where
together
these corporations do all these team building exercises. Do that.
Paint some pottery.
Yeah, paint some fucking pottery.
Like a wine and design.
Like Amazing Glaze.
Amazing Glaze. Is that a place?
That's where we used to go to as kids.
Oh, was it called Amazing Glaze?
That's how we got to know each other, Chris.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw that lady recently.
She was
the
with you.
bartender at
She was great.
at the show, at the Green Sky show. She was like, "You guys used to do pottery all the time."
You guys love pot.
I was like, "Dad used to act like he loved all our pottery."
Yeah.
Okay, so Tampa Bay, New Orleans. Fuck, dude. I gave out New Orleans, and then Kamara was inactive, so I did not bet New Orleans. I bet the under. We were at 44. I took a nap during this game. I felt so good about it. This is just when these two teams get together. I mean, it is physical. It's a slugfest.
Oh yeah.
3
Literally.
picks.
It's awesome.
There's slugs.
The game was too boring to talk about. Here's the bottom line: the Bucs are going to have to win with run game and defense this year. We talked about the thin line between being weaponless and having all these exciting new big names from 1996 on their team. It's already rearing its head.
Jameis has 2 broken backs.
Bro, that's insane that he played like that.
According to Jay Glazer.
Jay Glazer.
But it can't get any worse.
I wish Jay Glazer would have tweeted some
He
shit
doesn't
like,
have a third back.
Chris Long got hit by a car this week, but he's suiting up anyways. Like
Kyle fell out of the plane on the way to the game.
Yeah.
He will play.
He will play. Because that's got to... Once you do that, it's like hey, fuck it, whatever happens.
I love this guy.
I remember when I had a high ankle and I was shooting it up and playing through it, like couldn't walk during the week, play on Sunday. I didn't want people to know, but I was like, give me one of those Jay Glazer tweets, man.
Just let me have a handicap placard on the field.
I was like, Spags, can you put something out in the papers like he's still dealing with his ankle injury? Because I don't look great right now. He's like, no, we don't want anybody to know. In today's game, when you're hurt, everybody knows, dude.
And nobody cares.
And nobody cares. Except for if you're going to hit Jameis Winston.
Dad used to tell me, nobody cares.
Yeah, well,
Ugh.
that was traumatic hearing that a lot.
I'm okay. I'm healthy. I'm happy.
But Jameis Winston's back, he threw 3 picks in the 4th, I guess. And the big story is the fight and what the fallout from that is. I mean, if you'll remember a few years back, Mike Evans got into it with Lattimore, I think it was, and he was hit with a 1-game suspension. I mean, he gathered his steps and just lit him up.
Same knee, same shoulder.
I just want to know, like, the Bruce Arians element of this, the Marshawn Lattimore, what did he say to Brady? Because he had to say something incredibly foul.
And Brady turned. Brady inciting.
I love this.
All these people bitching about Brady didn't get this, he didn't get that. Like, okay.
Look at Mike Evans. He said, that's Tom Brady. What the fuck am I supposed
Mike
to do?
Mike Evans looking like Chris Long out there running in from the
So he's looking
sideline.
at Kyle Long. Well, coming off the sideline, he's looking at Kyle Long hitting William Hayes.
I thought the announcers could have been a little bit more emphatic about the call. I feel like if I'm doing a game, if I'm in the booth and there's a fight on the field,
you got to be like Jim Ross, dude.
The hat goes backwards and it's like, by God, here we go. Here comes that's Mike Evans music.
Yeah.
I think I know.
Here comes Mike Evans.
I think I know what Lattimore says here. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So Brady's complaining to the official. I think that's a fuck out of here. Isn't that clearly a fuck out of here?
It could be, or it could be something personal about your family.
You are no longer with your wife.
Well, that's the type of thing I'm wondering if he said, because
I think it's a fuck out of here.
You think Mike Evans did all that over a fuck out of here?
Yes.
Well, he did. I don't think Mike Evans knows what's going on.
Mike Evans doesn't care what happened.
See, here's what I want to know.
Fournette push.
I want to know, and we'll just give it right now. The viewing party or the fly on the wall. I want to know what was said here. I want to know what was said from Bruce Arians. He was like, kill him. Like Mike. I want to know what what Marshawn Lattimore said. And we talked about this last night on the live stream, me and Nate. Like, there were times in my career where I laid in bed and anticipated conflict with somebody I didn't like on the other team. And I made like social contracts with myself. Like, if he does this, you have to do this, or you're a sucker. Or like, you have to answer the bell. Like, you have to do some extra shit if he does this. So sometimes guys are laying in bed deciding that, like, if he does this one fucking thing, I mean, it doesn't help that Lattimore had him like pretty locked up. I mean, I think homeboy only had like a couple catches for 14 yards or something when he was on Lattimore. So there's a lot of frustration. There's a history, and now we'll see what the suspension says.
I appreciate how much these guys truly just fucking hate each other.
Is there
man.
anybody? You asked the question.
I'm
before
like,
the
dude,
pod.
is there anybody out there that hates each other like these two jokers? And I'm sure there's guys in division that play O-line or D-line that just can't stand each other, but they don't have enough oxygen to come fucking running from 40 yards. Lattimore, Evans, every time it's pay-per-view. Like, I'd rather watch this than Jake Paul fights.
Well, Mike Evans just blacked out there. Like,
I love it.
That's when you're like, I'm gonna get ejected now.
Does the building get any residual juice from that? Like, hey, our guy, all right, let's go. It's us against the world. Or is it like,
There's
fuck,
no juice.
dude,
Everybody
we're
tries to
suspended?
move on. When something like that happens in a game, it's handled in like quiet conversations and small populations of people. But then when you get back in the team setting, it's like, what happened. We got to keep our cool. We love seeing you guys look out for your teammates, but be smart.
I also
And
think
then
it
it's
speaks
like
to how they fuck with Tom Brady. Even though he took that break, even though everybody's like, oh, he's got Wednesdays off, like this whole thing, like I worried about the break from a standpoint of execution, but not like his standing in the locker room. Like when you're the GOAT, people want to go to bat for you.
I want to go to Costa Rica on
That's
the
Tom
PJ.
Brady. What do you want me to do? That's what I said when you were beating up William Hayes. I said, that's William Hayes. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
I ran off the sideline. Like that's your guy, dude. That's your guy. So like, this is a good sign for Tom Brady, and not one that surprises me that guys really fuck with him hard. But it doesn't hurt that they hate each other.
When fucking Tom Brady chucked that Microsoft Surface, boy, I was like, angry Tom. Here
Dude,
he comes.
the Surface. I thought
comes.
I thought the Surface was like the Surface and the NFL were having a falling out because the Surface is always breaking, and Microsoft doesn't want people like breaking the Surface. People frustrated with the Surface.
The announcer was like, he's got that childproof thing on it. And I was just like, I just pictured a toddler chucking a Surface.
Unbelievable. It feels so satisfying when you're really mad to throw something, especially an electronic. Like I've thrown my phone before
Because there's danger.
for much less than what Tom Brady threw that Surface about. So the best of the rest, man. Do you want to start with the Giants?
Sure. Let me get the notes out. Giants.
I know I'm going out of
2-0.
order here, but the Giants,
I gotta
man,
pull my
the
notes.
buzz is going to be serious in New York right now.
All right, listen up. Still no Tibbs, no Ojulari. All right.
Yep.
Panthers fumble the opening kickoff. That wasn't so hot. Hey, let's just run the highlights, Cowboy. I love
No,
it.
this is 2 weeks ago.
Please mute it and
Yeah.
run it. I love this shit. That's the best.
Giants just get a field goal, 3-0. Panthers fumble again. There's a 4th and 1. And Dable's going for these as if he has Josh Allen at quarterback as Daniel Jones, and it's a little slower. It's a little more rickety, but he picks it up on a play-action rollout on 4th and 1. These receivers you haven't heard of. Sills, Hudson, Richie James you might have heard of, but Richie James is basically wide receiver 1 out there.
Could they get the ball to Tony?
Yeah, Tony and Wandale coming. Just get the second half of the season. It's coming.
Second half group.
Another field goal, 6-0. Robbie Anderson looks so much younger wearing 3. I know you don't like the change to 3 specifically, but when he was
It's
wearing
a Zoomer number.
yeah,
3's a good number.
he looks like he's a
Zoomer
rookie
number.
out
3's a good
there.
number. 3's a good number.
But the Panthers' shoulder numbers are still comically small.
Yeah.
I mean the smallest numbers you've ever seen in your
So
entire
small,
life.
I didn't even notice them.
Yeah.
I didn't know there were numbers on his shoulders.
Okay, so actually, here's a nice exercise. This will be my Frank Gore Award a winner because I bet neither of you guys can pronounce that last name.
Jimenez.
Wrong, Zimenez.
Damn, what
All
a
right,
curveball,
and this
dude.
guy is pressuring the quarterback. Baker was running for his life the entire game.
Dog, their defense statistically is better than like the best in the league, like better than the Bucs on 3rd down.
I love Leonard Williams.
And they're doing it without their Ojulari and Thibodeau, whatever you believe is going to happen when they get back.
You're not in on that.
I'm not
No, I
buying
don't think
Thibodeau.
Thibodeau's going to be that good.
I'm not buying Kayvon Thibodeau as performing relative to his draft position.
Right.
right
And
away.
I don't
ever.
know. I don't know.
There was a period there.
I don't know. But you know,
Well, we don't know, and I hope he proves me wrong.
Now get ready for him to have 1 sack 1 week, and people are going to be doing a victory lap.
and
on
that'll
him.
be okay.
Okay.
Carolina goes up 13-6. Then they go up 16-13 later. Christian McCaffrey breaks off a 49-yarder. But these Giants, Kyle said it last week, with Dable being in the building, there's just a little bit of belief there. And they think they can win these games, and that goes a long way. Carolina goes up 13-6. Giants are resilient. Kyle said it last week. Dable in the building. You got some belief. You think you can beat teams. That's great. They end up going up 16-13 on a 56-yarder from Graham Gano with 3:34 to go, playing his old team, the Carolina Panthers.
Knock, knock.
Yeah? Yeah, who's there?
Gano.
Gano who?
Gano, those two teams that you just beat aren't that good. You know that, right?
Let me think on that. I think Tennessee's better than what they showed week one.
They're going to play the Bills tough. We talked about this.
And I think Carolina's capable.
But the one thing was Tennessee they were just so sloppy. You know, listen, I'm rooting for Daniel Jones. I'm rooting for Saquon, who didn't need to do that much yesterday to win that game. It wasn't like he had the day he had week one. That's nice to know about your team.
On the 3rd and 6 needed to ice it, it was another Daniel Jones play action rollout. He put a WDE in quicksand.
You don't
and
do
picked up the first round.
If you're a WDE, man, you just start running to the sideline.
Yeah.
You just got to go, dude.
Take the angle.
But they're using his athleticism. I saw they were running QB power and keeps the week one. And
playbook has not changed since when Dable had Josh Allen. It's beautiful.
So you mentioned Graham Gano, 4 for 4, 13 of the 19 points scored by the Giants. He is an MVP candidate this week.
Game ball
Candidate. One thing I will say about the Giants, and I'm glad you guys are talking about Dable. I'm glad you're talking about Josh Allen when you're talking about Daniel Jones and the Giants, because I want to talk about Mike Kafka, who was the quarterback's coach in Kansas City. He's now the OC for the New York Giants.
Yeah.
I think what you've seen the last few weeks is an incorporation of and an infusion of the Bills and the Chiefs. There's a lot of overlap there offensively with the dynamic playmaking abilities of all three of these quarterbacks now. Daniel Jones, he falls in the playmaking dynamic category after yesterday.
Yeah.
Right.
But Kafka is infusing that confidence in the same way that Dable has with the entire team. Kafka, Daniel Jones spending a lot of time together, and I love to see this. And I haven't heard a lot of people say, hey, there's some Kansas City infusion here, but we see it. The shovel pass to Saquon on the 2-point, that's Travis Kelce in the Kansas City offense. So I'm looking forward to seeing more put your guy in comfortable position offense from the Giants.
We got yelled at about giving up a shovel pass to Travis Kelce in the red zone. I mean, everybody knows it's coming. It's a KC staple. So, good win for you guys.
Thank you, man.
Congratulations.
Thank you. 2-0.
You going to the playoffs?
Well, I mean,
hadn't gotten that far.
Last time you started 2-0,
went to the playoffs. Cooper Rush next week.
Oh, that's going to be a showdown, dude.
At home.
Ooh, that's going to be a showdown. Jacksonville, Indy, man. First things first, the Colts are in trouble. I'm not saying it's over for the Colts, but these are issues that in the offseason we wondered what Chris Ballard was doing, not addressing the wide receiver position more, not addressing tackle position more. You trot Matt Pryor out there. We've talked about Matt Pryor. There are issues that are coming up for them. And it's like a mental game for them playing the Jaguars, especially going down there.
Obviously Pittman was out,
which is a big deal, but you shouldn't be a receiver. Like one receiver shouldn't mean a shutout for you. And you got rid of Carson Wentz a lot of because of the way the season ended in Jacksonville, right? And he actually outplayed Matt Ryan.
Can we play a little game?
Yeah.
Respectfully?
Yeah.
Would you rather have a quarterback for this Colts team, which appears to be quite capable in a playoff team? Would you rather have Matt Ryan or Carson Wentz? Okay, we'll come back to that one. Would you rather have Davis Mills or Matt Ryan?
Davis Mills.
Okay.
Davis Mills. There was one play. I mean, Matt threw a ball into traffic like the first drive. Like at the threat of pressure. I mean, our young guy coming around on a loop, and he just burns the ball into traffic. So you start the game with a pick, and then like late in the half, they're down 14-0. They get a drop. They have an opportunity to get back in the game, and then the last possession. This is like where I'm like, Matt probably doesn't feel great. Is like they get 1st and 15. And they end up in 3rd and long, I think it was, and Matt Ryan falls down on a sack, like just falls onto the ground. I just don't think they're going to be great under pressure this year. I mean, like when there's an older quarterback, we always say this, and he could be dealing with something acute right now coming out of camp. We don't know that, but we always say we don't know where the ledge is with older quarterbacks. Like, right, that like the ledge can be really steep, and you might not see it coming. So every offseason with a 30-plus-year-old quarterback, especially like somebody his age, it's a big question mark. Like, who are you going to get? And for the Falcons, they're probably looking up there like, well, this validates us letting him walk. And for the Colts, you're kind of like, damn, we're 3 veteran quarterbacks in a row.
This was our window.
Spinning the wheel.
This is our window.
We've spun the wheel through our window.
We automatically thought it was an upgrade.
I don't know yet.
Maybe it wasn't.
I don't know yet.
I automatically was guilty of thinking it was an upgrade.
Trevor Lawrence or Matt Ryan?
Trevor Lawrence.
So Trevor Lawrence yesterday was really good, dude. I just want to say this. I wrote these down. It was like,
I love Trevor Lawrence.
the first 3rd and 8, he was on the money, and it just didn't stop. I mean, Zay Jones, like 4th and 3. Doug Peterson, I love Doug down there, dude. Like, this is just, imagine coaching in Philly and then coaching in Jacksonville. Like the difference in the, the day-to-day grind with the
2
media.
journalists in the locker room versus 30.
Like just, I mean, he's going to be chefing it up quietly down there all year, and they look like a team. If this is the Colts, they can challenge for the division. Like Trevor Lawrence, if he throws the ball the way he threw yesterday, if Christian Kirk plays the way he's played through 2 games, which we said, like, listen, he probably overpaid for him and he fucked up the market for GMs, but this guy's been automatic, and he's been, like, yesterday they got him the first 3rd and 3, he's out of the backfield. They run him on basically a reverse late in the game. Like, they're using him in a bunch of different ways. Trevor looked really good rolling to his left, made a couple really good throws where he had to kind of pivot and roll to his left and flip his hips and throw the ball down the field. But the best pass he threw all day, ironically, was to Jamal Agnew, who dropped it in the end zone. I mean, beautiful touch. And my poor wife, who accidentally drafted Jamal Agnew in the first round of the fantasy draft, I blame the ESPN website, missed out on some points there. But Trevor Lawrence was good yesterday. He was really good, and put the game away late with Kirk on that kind of end around deal.
34-year-old Ryan Tannehill or 37-year-old Matt Ryan?
Ryan Tannehill.
So you're now saying you would take every quarterback in that division over Matt Ryan?
What we're seeing right now, if this is who Matt Ryan is, and maybe it's a product of the offense.
Based on the inability to throw the ball 10 or more yards with efficiency, I'm taking anybody else because they can run better than him.
I don't want to overreact, and maybe that's what we're doing.
And we'll complete the game with Carson Wentz or Matt Ryan.
I can't do it. I can't do it, dude. And like we picked. It was kind of one of those things, man. We picked the Colts. I don't know where they were on the confidence.
Shout out to the O-line, too, the Jags O-line.
But it just goes to show you, in a division like that, it's always fucking crazy. And with a veteran quarterback, you just never know.
They have to host the Chiefs this week, too.
Like, they're just playing good football. The first week, they were dropping the football. Lawrence was missing some throws, but the guys are open. They're blocking things up. Like, they're exciting. That's why they're one of America's teams.
Lowest pressure percentage of Trevor Lawrence's career. If he continues to feel comfortable, he can continue to ball in obscurity.
Brandon Sheriff.
I'm excited. Last week we were saying he's kind of gotten a pass a little bit. Kingston asked me the question, like, does he get a pass? I'm like, well, naturally. First off, he had the devil incarnate as his coach last year. Like, instead of like post-game analysis, you're getting a finger
and seemingly handled it the right way off the field too, right? Like Trevor did. I feel like he was never in the news for the wrong stuff.
No, and he's in a small market, so he's not going to get heat. That's just the way these things go. Yeah. So Rams, Atlanta, I took the Falcons. I felt like this was a lock. They're actually a pretty competent team offensively. They just can't seem to get the ball to Kyle Pitts. Jalen Ramsey is him again. He wasn't him. Now he's Himothy again. Closes the game out on a pick. He made some really good plays yesterday.
Did you think it was a lock at 28-3 or 31-10?
No, I thought it was a lock before the game. But as you know, teams come back. We just talked about it for a while. And the Rams, got a punt blocked, made some mistakes, and let them back in the game. Allen Robinson, I felt so bad. He had a touchdown. They called it back. Like, how hard is that? After last week, you're like, fuck, I found the end zone. Now we got to line up again.
I'm glad that his button on Matt Stafford's controller to throw to Allen Robinson is not broken anymore because, the guy creates separation. He can elevate. He has great hands. He's physical on the run. He's a guy you want on the field all the time as an offense. And if they can incorporate him, it'll get Cooper even more open.
Well, Cooper didn't have a catch for a little bit in that game yesterday. So, get Kyle Pitts the ball. He's on my fantasy team. Drake London's getting the ball. He looks really good. Guy's got tremendous body control. I don't want to say too much about the game other than, like, oddly pleasing to the eye. Like, I don't like those uniforms, but when you put them together, they weren't bad.
It looked goofy to me.
Yeah. And the 28-3 thing.
28-3.
Ooh.
So there's 2 games we didn't hit, and they're 2 of the most boring games of the Sunday. your guy, Mitchell Trubisky, I don't want to pile on, but, not a great game. And New England comes away with the win. Here's the bottom line in that game. Aguilar going up top to get that catch before the half. At that point, they're still in that game. That was a big play to give that one up. But then late in the game, you drop a pick. The very next play, the Steelers muff a punt. So they drop a pick in a one-score ball game, I think it was. And then the very next play, they muff a punt. And the poor Polish kid, Oshevsky, who was supposed to be a legend in Pittsburgh. He was supposed to be a Polish legend in Pittsburgh.
And they just keep the camera on him when he's leaving the field. He's just shaking his head.
Gunner's in Pittsburgh now?
Yeah, Oshevsky.
Wow.
Oshevsky.
He's a gunner, but he's returning punts.
That's counterintuitive.
That's what's wrong.
That's what's wrong. You need to put him at gunner. So, we're only talking about these two teams, no disrespect, because they are Pittsburgh and New England.
Well, it's very cool that these two franchises are now playing in games that we don't want to talk about.
I want to talk about Mitch for a second.
Talk about Mitch. Okay, that was a second.
I'm happy that Mitch is starting. I'm happy that he won the competition. And now what I need to see from Mitch is the ability to be confident in himself and make the throws that he can see. If he sees a throw, make it. Picks happen, but touchdowns happen more often than not when you're confident and you're prepared, which I know he is. He works hard. He's got some protection now. That defense is awesome.
Yep.
I love that defense. I've been on a team with Mitch where the defense plays complementary football. He doesn't have to be a Superman, but if he can threaten the edges of defenses, that'll get guys open down the field.
The problem is you've got this hometown hero kid who had a really nice preseason, and if you're Mike Tomlin and the chance for Pickett came in the third quarter, we said early in the season, all Trubisky has to do is avoid the stinker games. And this game was a stinker.
Yep.
And so, now you're going to have the heat on you, and it just so happens that the kid's from right down the road, and he had a really nice preseason. But if you're Mike Tomlin and you think that kid's the answer, when do you bring him in?
The problem with Pickett is that in the preseason, he was also dinking and dunking short passes.
Yep.
Yesterday, Mitch was only throwing short. He had 5 of his 12 passes, 74 yards and a pick when he was 10-plus air yards downfield.
He checked the ball down a lot. He went through the entirety of his progression a lot. I saw him standing tall in the pocket like he's coached to do. What I didn't see was that killer instinct from Mitch where he just fires his gun and finds guys down the field. He's got dudes to throw the ball to. I really like Deontay a lot.
The ball.
The chemistry's there. He got Pickens the ball late, but it was too little too late. And I feel like once he got the ball rolling and felt confident towards the end, there wasn't enough time.
And Kyle, you mentioned the defense. We saw how big an impact TJ Watt can have. Last week they had 7 sacks. This week Mac Jones was only hit 3 times, had 2 pressures on 35 dropbacks.
And Bill takes pride in scheming up the Steelers, dude. If there's any team that Bill's like, these fucking guys, it's the Steelers. So, that was a meaningful week for the Pats and just perfect Bill Belichick was so happy driving back to his house in the Cape last night, thinking about that 6.5-minute drive that they didn't give the ball back on.
What does he listen to on the way home? Does he listen to music?
Audiobooks about wars.
Silence.
Got it.
Definitely audiobooks.
Maybe Stephen Ambrose.
Maybe the Meriwether Lewis biography.
Silence.
Yeah.
So I'll let you. We got the Broncos. That's the last of the slate. And then we'll talk about Jimmy G. But
let's ride,
big
baby.
win.
Let's ride. And making great prediction in our 1v1 matchups. You said Brandon McManus and the uprights.
You're a big kicker guy.
3
You're
for
like
3
a kicker specialist.
I didn't watch
thank
one
you.
fucking second of this game. You guys have to help me.
Well, there was a point when Russell Wilson tripped late in the game. He got booed, by the way, yesterday. He tripped.
2 for 2 getting booed this year.
And I was thinking the thing, it's going to be Broncos country. Let's hide if they start 0-2. I was ready to print the T-shirts, but alas, the Broncos.
You
come in
had
and-
2 or 3
still
Broncos
Save
country
it.
on the live streams.
Huh?
You had 2 or 3 of those on the live
Broncos
streams.
country. Let's hide.
Yep.
Broncos country. Let's hide. So Russ got booed. Hackett is big struggle bus, dude.
Daniel.
13 penalties
Fuck.
for 100 yards. Used a timeout because the fucking punt return didn't have a returner. And then it's the one thing you remember. What are we out here for? We're out
it's
here
like
for
high
punt.
school football.
It's not like it's not like a guard didn't
Where's
make it.
Timmy?
Yeah, dude. They had to use a last time out on a delay game. It was just.
And that wasn't the most egregious.
What was the most
Talk to
egregious?
us about the field goal, setting up that field goal.
Well, the fans, I think, were the most egregious. They had to start counting down the play clock because we
I heard
kept
that.
like delay of game, and so the fans would chant down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to make sure we wouldn't.
It's like an NBA shot
and we
clock
still
out there.
screwed
It's
up
super.
At an away game.
Yeah, it's bad, dude.
That's my viewing party. I wish I had been here with Cowboy Reed during the live stream to watch Thaniel just completely get owned by that clock. Watch the live streams.
Yeah, sure.
WinBet, Miller Lite, Green Light Pod.
Do it. Make was really into it. It was good, right?
It was really good.
Yes. What was your favorite part?
Very entertaining. Probably the middle.
In the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're in the meat of it. It was pretty good. So you're also 2 times inside the 5-yard line and you got to settle for field goals. So I know we're going to have a big shotgun at the goal line discussion. You hog mollies don't like that.
Not a very big discussion.
Is it not?
Hold on.
Because hold on a minute.
Hold on. I agree.
Hey, hold on. Hey, hold on. Steve Palazzo from Pro Football Focus. They're never wrong. Touchdown percentage on run plays from the 1-yard line since 2017. Yeah, shuffle your notes here because shotgun 63%, no shotgun 55%.
From where? Where is that from?
From the 1-yard line.
From the 1-yard line.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So you people, you guys are more spread out, yeah? If you're in shotgun?
Ours are not really.
Not necessarily?
Depends on where you are on the field.
Okay, how about the 1
When
yard
you're on the
line?
1 or the 2 yard line, you're taught to have tighter splits, so nobody can shoot the gaps, and you can be hip to hip.
But if he's under center, you guys are touching each other's hips.
If it's under center, we're shoe to shoe or stripe to stripe, as Lou Holtz likes to say.
Lou Holtz would say.
Now, I
Line
understand.
up stripe to stripe and block his ass.
Why did Lou Holtz catch a stray like out of the blue here?
Because that's how he does it.
Yeah.
And for you people, I'm now pointing at Chris, the defensive lineman. It's at the 1. Would you rather see a quarterback line up under center or in shotgun? I think if he's in
feel like
shotgun,
I'd
you're
rather
like,
see somebody under center.
You would rather, because you're just
Because
gonna.
you're running your base stuff. You're just like, the things that can happen are less. And I know that like it's frustrating, and I think probably the play calls are the issue. I mean, people are running shotgun inside the 5-yard
quarterback
line.
dive.
They're giving their dual threat quarterback
Space.
an opportunity to add an extra blocker into the play by him keeping the ball.
Yeah.
So that's their
Everything's
thought. It's
condensed.
basic math, but good football teams win and can rush the ball when the entire stadium and everybody on the defense knows that they're going to run the ball. And the best way to do that is line up under center in the dot with David Montgomery, who had like 4,000 yards last night, 8 yards a pop.
Looked great.
Give him the ball, let him will his way into the end zone, and then you're
did
back
look
in this
great.
football game. I mean,
Packers -10 look great.
I get it, but I'm an O lineman, so I don't get it.
Low key, Bears looked highly competent last night, I thought.
I'm just telling you, man.
They got after Aaron Rodgers.
Robert Quinn
You
still
see
got it.
12 on the ground a lot. Robert Quinn, my goodness, he's tough to block. And the motherfucker is offsides every play.
He
Oh, you
lines
guys
up
leave
offside.
early.
Robert!
All the time, dude. We're not a snitching podcast.
Back up.
We're not like Texas A&M snitching
I'm not
on people.
snitching. The yellow
Did you see
line that
Texas
he's
A&M
straddling
snitching on
is
people
snitching.
for smoking marijuana in the bathroom?
That's
Texas
terrible.
A&M tweeting.
To be fair, the women's bathroom.
Well, so what if a woman is a little stressed out?
What if somebody's pregnant?
Well, we don't know that.
Somebody could have been pregnant in the bathroom.
Sure.
That's reckless. Hey, Elton Jenkins was back.
Elton Jenkins back, right tackle.
Yes.
This week. Runyon was back after a concussion, and I really like Runyon's game a lot.
Yeah.
I think he did a really good job.
Played his dad. That's fucking crazy.
It's so funny.
Played his dad in the first game of my career.
And I have so much CTE that I hear the name Runyon, and I'm like, did I play with this guy, or did my dad play with him? Or my brother?
yeah,
You
it's
know what I'm
confusing.
saying?
It's confusing.
It's tough. It's tough. That's the face I make. That's my CTE face. Yeah.
Shout out Ryan Poles, Bears GM. He's shown on the camera in the suite, and then you see yourself on TV, and a lot of guys screw this up. I give him a B plus because he saw himself and looked right down at the field, and he only had one more eye dart up to the TV to see if he was still on. That's acceptable.
It's acceptable.
It's when you're looking every 2 seconds, am I still on? Am I still on? And then somebody's tapping you on the shoulder, and you're looking back, and you're like, I know I am.
I know I'm on TV.
He handled it pretty well.
Ryan Poles, all business, by the way. I got to know him a little bit last year. It's funny that he became the GM of the Bears. I had no idea. You never know, Chris, who's on the GM track, right? Like,
yeah,
it
no.
could be
Shout out to Ian Yates Cunningham.
Yeah, IYC out there in
I
Chicago.
can't wait. I'm going to be bothering him every 5 minutes.
So I'm in there after I broke my leg and rehabbing every morning, and there's this giant in there, and I'm like, why the fuck doesn't he have pads? Like, he needs to play. Ryan Poles is all of 6'5", 300 pounds, and he played with the Olin Kreutz Chicago Bears offensive line, I believe. Check that out.
Looks to be the case.
And he was in there every day lifting weights. When the guys would go out to practice, he would just lift weights. And then one day I read Bears hire Ryan Poles of the Kansas City scouting organization. I said, this motherfucker was here the whole time. I
just acting
him.
like you weren't going to be a GM. You're going to be a GM, but I was like, next year.
Some guys, you hear about it. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, I hope you stay here, man. We're lucky to have you.
Yep.
He snuck up on me. I'm happy because he's an O-lineman. I'm happy because I think he does have a plan to protect Justin Fields.
Yep.
I'm on the fence after last night about Justin Fields. He's not throwing the ball.
Let's not.
Period.
Come on.
He's not throwing the ball as well as I'd like.
He's not throwing it.
I have a lot of money on Justin Fields, theoretically speaking, hypothetically speaking.
It's hard to get your reps under duress. It's like doing math problems, like as they're napalming.
I couldn't have been happier seeing him dive into the end zone to take the lead over the Packers last night. That was so awesome, and that might be a Bevel Conway.
That was beautiful.
He didn't hit the pylon. The pylon was kicked into him, and he was down short of it. But he was only 7 of 11. He threw the ball 11 times in an entire football game.
And listen, maybe that's protecting him right now.
Okay, well, it's year 2 and a top 15 pick.
It's year 2. He's a top 15 pick, but the team is objectively terrible. It's terribly set up around him.
Okay.
The defense,
Talk to Mike Martz.
Defense is good
Mike
at multiple.
Martz hates Justin Fields. You guys
says
could
they
all be
misquoted him.
You guys could all be buddies. They misquote him.
I think Justin Fields gives you a chance to win every week.
Yeah.
But I think if you don't let Justin Fields do the things that are his strengths, then you won't have a chance to win with
So
him.
this doesn't seem to be a Justin Fields problem yet. I'm just saying.
Yeah, like
I'm not gonna hit
I had
the
issue with
panic
I had an issue with the 4th and goal call too. So maybe it's a Getsy thing, maybe it's an Eberflus thing.
Or maybe they just don't want the guy to die on the field this year.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it happen. I played with Sam Bradford, dude.
Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith, Kenny Clark, awesome.
I love Rashawn Gary.
Rashawn Gary, explosive.
I might be more.
It's also why you don't write off picks.
Yeah.
I might be more panicky about the Packers this week than last week. Aaron Jones was spectacular, but Rodgers doesn't. Obviously, you're not going to be as comfortable without a guy like Devontae Adams there. He just, I don't know. Bakhtiari will change things, but Sammy Watkins, Randall Cobb, the Dobbs train wasn't really moving yet.
Sammy Watkins had a huge play at the end of that game.
Sammy Watkins,
the nail in the coffin, really.
Nail in the -10 coffin is what that was.
Okay. So Jimmy G being back, man, Trey Lance getting hurt. It's the weirdest situation because the one big question mark for the Niners this year was the quarterback. And they're in this funky situation where the window's wide open, but they've got a kid that they maybe think's the guy. They burn the ships for him. Then Jimmy G, not so fast. We signed him back. People don't like the signing. Yesterday's evidence of why the signing was, great insurance. I mean, not just the fact that Trey Lance is developing and your window's open, so you're not going to have the patience you would if you're the Bears, right? Because the Bears have no other choice. And the Bears are like, we got to get Justin Fields up to speed. Like the Niners, their window's open. So it's good to have a guy like Jimmy G if he's struggling. Trey's out for the season. Really tough week for him. I felt bad for him with the strip club thing, cell phone cameras, man. And then on top of that, he comes out and gets hurt. And they were actually they were going to cover. I mean, from a gambler's perspective, I told you this was the gambler's special. But Jimmy G comes in the game, and I can't help but notice walking around the sideline that I don't think anybody dislikes Trey Lance, but they knew they had their work cut out for him. And with Jimmy,
they love
Jimmy, dude. He's just they just love the guy, and he can run the offense. Sure, he's going to scare the shit out of you sometimes, but I feel way better about my Niners to the Super Bowl pick at 3 p.m. yesterday than I did at 1 p.m. Or 7 p.m. or whatever it was. It was in the late slate or the early slate? Late slate.
Late slate. Collinsworth made a good point. Maybe you sign Jimmy for the other team that has an injured quarterback, and you make a deal and get something back, and it turns out to be your own team where you need the insurance. Yeah, man, those guys rallied around him. He completed a bunch of balls in a row to start, 8, 9. They look good. They look better. I'm with you.
Yeah, they're a good football team. They're a known commodity now. They went from an unknown commodity that's very talented to this is a known commodity. And you guys are going to have to buckle up when you play. And George Kittle's not even back yet. And they should be careful with him because it is a groin. And groins, as you saw yesterday with Humphrey, or whoever, whoever has a groin. Like I had a groin a lot of times in my career. Like
I have a groin right now.
You got
Drive
two groins.
drive blocking in particular is tough on a groin.
Everything,
So
like even
George
running-
Kittle
Yeah.
in line blocking, which we know he loves, which
Yep.
they know that Shanahan loves to utilize him
Yep.
in. That's gonna be tough for him to do.
But this is a big deal. Like it sucks that Trey Lance is hurt, but this team probably feels more confident today than it did yesterday. And that's just, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And Trey Lance, Jimmy G's been there. He's torn his ACL. He's rehab. Like he's going to be there for him. So in the long term, like Jimmy G might make more money because of this. Trey Lance might have more time. Like maybe this year was going to just be bad for him. And the Niners might be better off. So funky thing, but you could definitely pick it up seeing him kind of walking around the sideline. Like I know body language on the sideline, and guys were like, it's good to have you back. Like it sucks what happened to Trey because everybody likes the kid by all accounts, but yeah.
And don't overlook how the locker room will receive him.
Exactly.
And you're not wrong mentioning more money for Jimmy G. His incentives are all probably now going to kick in because he had all kind of game incentives, $250,000 per game where he takes 25% of snaps, $100,000 per win, $500,000 with 50% snaps in a playoff game, and a couple more playoff game incentives. So
he's gonna make like $4 million and the $250 a game, 25% of the snaps, right? Like his
Wow, look at that, Chris. 16 times
He's going to
250.
do $4 million and then add the $500,000. So this $4.5 million plus wins. I mean, he's going to win 10, 12 games.
He's going to give
He's going to make like almost $5. He's going to make $6 million like off of this injury. And not to mention, he's going to be up, right? Like he's not the quarterback of the future here, or maybe he is. But he's going to, like, he wasn't going to get a chance to showcase that he can still play off that injury. He's got a chance to do that now, and who knows who he plays for next year.
Niners,
but I know
one penalty.
I know this year the Niners are going to be a motherfucker.
Yeah.
So superlatives. We used to call them the superlatives, but we have upgraded. We have upgraded Miller Lite Mentions. What the fuck kind of word is superlatives, anyways?
I've never known what you had against the word. It's a fine word, but you don't like it for the segment, we won't do it for the segment.
Well, it's also hard to get the alliteration that you get with Miller Lite Mentions.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I was about to talk alliteration.
Yeah.
Yeah. Miller Lite, great taste, less filling.
96 calories.
I love
That's
when
like-
you say that.
Thank you.
I smile actually, like
Thanks.
organically.
You know the word Miller's not on that can. It just says light.
Yeah.
It's so
that's-
iconic that you
it
don't
is
even
like-
need Miller on
Just
it.
spell the word wrong.
Yeah.
We
It's
should
like
be
Tiger
spelling-
Woods doesn't need a last name.
Can we spell
Green
Green
Light.
Light Pod? Can we spell it Green Light Pod?
Miller Lite, we just need a few more million
We just need a couple
dollars.
mils, and we'll do that. But that fucks up the whole
That's
SEO
pretty sick.
thing.
Oh.
Yeah, which I don't know what that stands for. Searchable
Search engine optimization.
optimization. Yep, got it. Okay, so best plane ride. Why don't y'all go first?
I'll go first. The New York Football Jets.
Yeah, short flight too.
And they all probably got to FaceTime with Gary V once they boarded.
I don't know who that is.
Gary Vaynerchuk, shout out to Vayner Sports. He's gonna one day own the Jets. Biggest like real Jet fan there is. And if you follow him, he's like one of those grinder. Like you should be putting out content every day.
Bigger than the fireman.
Like he's the best. He's the real deal. He
Better than
built
the fireman.
it. I don't even know him.
Ed. His name's Ed.
His name's Ed.
Don't even know him.
Yeah. Well, I don't know Gary.
Best
V.
flight, New York Jets home after a big win.
Oh yeah, Robert Sala's in there. He's making notes. He's got a list going.
Chalky, but I'll go Dolphins. They were down by
Yeah.
$1 million.
Yeah.
Tyreek's got to be a good time on that plane. He's got a little Willie Mays Hayes to him. Shoot, Mike McDaniel has a little Lou Brown to him, for that matter.
Yeah.
I'd like to be
Tyreek
on
talks
that
that
Lou
plane.
Brown. Yeah. No, I don't know.
No, I mean different vibe.
Different Lou Brown.
Yeah, but same
Younger Lou Brown.
speed, same vibe, energy. Not the same vibe, same energy, same speed, and winners.
Yeah.
Melvin Ingram's very cool on that plane.
I bet he's cool.
He's the coolest plane buddy.
I bet you that's a fun flight. I want to say this the Cardinals because there's nothing better in pro football than relief, especially when you know the tax man's coming eventually for your team. And you're like, I don't think we got it. But like in week 2,
Get some wins.
we get some wins. Big shout out to my man Steve Keim, who just got a new tattoo. It's got a bunch of wolves on it. It's badass.
Cool.
I
Like he's one of
Steve
my
Keim.
favorite GMs,
I
man.
like
He was
Steve
all
Keim.
jacked up after the game. We love Steve Keim. The Cardinals flight is short. You're in Old Town, Scottsdale, pretty early. So that's a big one for me.
You can make it to Steak 44.
Steak 44.
or 48. Check me on that. But it's
But
a great
it's a steak
steakhouse.
restaurant. Yeah.
The best steakhouse.
Worst plane ride.
Oh, worst plane ride. Bengals, man. First off,
You're a Bengal guy, huh?
I like the Bengals.
I'm a Bengal guy.
You're
Oh.
a Bengal guy.
Yeah, Bengal.
Yeah, you're a Bengal guy.
You're a Bengal
You
guy?
walk like an
Bengal.
Egyptian.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Bengals.
No, but the Bungles, man, they're the Bungles. They're morphing
right.
back in the Bungles.
Was that
They're
the
also
Clash?
they're also falling out of the Americas. They were in the Americas team. They were one of the best Americas teams in America like a couple weeks ago. But now they're chopped liver, and the commie Cowboys, the communists, they took it to them, and now you got to leave that stadium, which takes 3 hours in and of itself. Like there's a huge underbelly to that stadium with a big. You don't see the light of day for 5 minutes driving your bus around in the basement of that motherfucker. It's just, and then the airport I think is kind of far, and Dallas is like no matter where you're flying to Dallas from, it's further than you think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean maybe they probably had a headwind.
When you fly out of New York, in quotation marks, is that Teterboro? Do you go to Teterboro after East?
LaGuardia.
Really?
LaGuardia.
Brand
and you
new.
land. You think
Brand
you're landing
new.
in the ocean. You're like, we're gonna die.
It's fabulous. It's the same flight I take in Flight Simulator. So I'm like, hey, this guy knows what he's doing. It looks pretty smooth.
Yeah, it looks smooth.
Nice angle of attack.
Yeah, I saw
Okay.
this in Sully. This is not. You want to avoid the other thing. We're doing this thing.
Yeah.
It's good.
I'll go Carolina Panthers leaving East Rutherford, the Meadowlands, MetLife Stadium. They're 0-2 after the Jacoby Brissett Browns and Danny Dimes. That's a bad scene.
They have the worst Monday scaries. Monday scaries might be an award, but like the Monday scaries for me, it's no place higher than Carolina.
Yep.
Matt Rule might be dead man walking. I mean, the vibes in that building are not good. Not good.
Matt Rule, alive or dead?
What?
Alive, but
No,
He is
dead.
alive.
He's dead to me.
He is
yeah,
alive.
he's
actually.
alive.
Yep.
He's alive.
Dead to me.
Alive
Okay.
person.
My worst flight will. I'm going to curtail off last week's worst bus ride, which was the Bears to Lambeau Field, and they fly back after that loss to Aaron Rodgers, who still has his name on the deed for
Yeah.
the team.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
They were talking that shit.
His name is on the deed big time.
They were talking that shit.
Yeah. No, I know. That's a bad plane ride. I mean, Bevel Conway. I mean, can anybody beat the Chiefs and the Chargers? I feel like we're trying too hard if we.
Trying too hard, but as a homer, the Bears-Packers rivalry. I mean, getting to come home last night. Obviously, I work pregame on Sundays, but I get to come home and make it home for the Sunday night game. I got all my popcorn ready to watch. You know, Justin Fields drives down the field to take the lead. That's my Bevel Conway. Diving, you know, his knee was down, but diving.
Yeah. Only way it could have been better would be if you wear those throwback Bears uniforms with the Michigan Wolverine type things.
I don't
Delaware.
know about
Break
that.
the tie.
I'm going to go with Kyle.
Oh, really?
At night, under the lights.
Oh, I think you guys are smoking toads
But-
right now.
Look, I got a
Licking
problem.
them. We're licking them.
Yeah, you're licking toads.
I got a bit of a problem with red just generally.
Yeah.
So, Chiefs and Arrowhead is great, but it's too much ketchup and mustard.
I want to
for
give a
me.
shout out to Air Force in Wyoming. I sent you that
Oh,
text.
yeah,
on
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Two of
Beautiful.
the best helmets.
Icy whites
in the game.
for Air Horse, and then Wyoming always brings
Yeah,
it.
so Wyoming always brings it. They got the W there.
I got the Wyoming yellow on right
You
now.
do.
You do.
It's a good color.
Hollow Man, I'm going Hunter Renfrow, man. That really sucks. But he almost transferred it to our guy who picked up the fumble, who we mentioned earlier, and damn near Leon led it. So Hollow Man, I'm going. I'm going that. Yeah.
I'll go Ron Rivera. He went for 2 after scoring to make it 29-21. He was trying to make it 29-23. For some guys, analytics don't look good on you. I know Riverboat Ron is Riverboat for a reason, but kick the extra point, extend the game.
Yeah.
Because then Joey Sly Hokie misses an extra point, and the game
He's
is
a
therefore
Hokie?
he's a Hokie. He was a Hokie. Once a Hokie, only a Hokie while you're there because you don't want to claim it afterwards.
Yep.
And he misses that, therefore, in effect, ending that fun little Lions commies game.
Marcus Peters is my Hollow Man.
Yeah.
You're playing against Tyreek Hill. Line up at the goal line.
Right. No, or Kyle Hamilton, maybe.
Yeah. Well,
That whole secondary could win Hollow Man.
Well, unfortunately for Marcus, the angle told me to say Marcus.
Yeah. Well, Kyle Hamilton was so far outside the
Yeah.
picture that people were
He
like,
was-
"Oh, there is no safety. He must not be safety help." I
It was
mean,
also 77 degrees at 74, 70-something degrees at Lambeau. Eberflus was in a short-sleeve shirt.
yeah, global warming.
Yeah. That's a callback to Bevel Conway from a few moments ago.
Yeah.
But it did rain. It was pissing a little bit there late, which
Near
makes
halftime.
it even
Near
more
halftime.
poetic.
I don't have a viewing party. My fly on the wall is Bruce Arians and Mike Evans. I want to know what the hell was said. I mean, where do we start there? You want to go fly on the wall or viewing party? Y'all got one?
Viewing party, I want to be with Cowboy Reed for every Nathaniel Hackett game. Fly on the wall, I want to do any conversation. I want to do like Control F. That's Control Find, yeah. I want to Control F any conversation involving the word Dak in or around Arlington, Texas, among persons with a net worth over $100 million. Because that will include Jerry Jones. Is he like, we don't need Dak Prescott to win football games? Cooper Rush is out here?
I don't know what Jerry's thinking right now.
Is Dak, Dak is, all right, you guys tell me. You're on the sideline. You don't want to get Wally pipped. Cowboys look great to start, and then is Dak low-key a little fired up that they don't put up 45, that they win it, they have to win it in the end on a long field goal?
Yeah, probably. I mean, as long as you win and you don't look like an idiot, like, here's the deal. They played the Bucs last week. That's a different challenge. Not that Cincy is anything to sneeze at defensively, but, I think if you're Dak, you feel safe. But the injuries are mounting, and Jerry wants to win a Super Bowl while he's still around. That was macabre. I don't want to think about Jerry
Alive
Jones.
or dead? Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones is alive.
Alive.
Yeah.
Very much alive.
Alive.
Okay.
Maybe more alive than I have ever been.
Yeah. Oh, God, that guy's living. Livin.
Yeah.
I got to do a fly on the wall. I would love to be in the DMs of Lattimore and Mike Evans, or like maybe they're going to tweet at each other.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be some shit that comes out this week.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't wait to see it, and I want to have front row.
Mike Evans doesn't seem like a guy who handles his problems on Twitter.
No, but when he's a couple thousand miles away, and he can't chuck midgets around, he can't chuck small DBs around.
LPs. You're going to get our sponsorships pulled.
Well, we're not live.
LPs drink Miller Lite.
They do. Very responsibly.
Okay. They drink very extra responsibly. So, St. Louis Memorial Award. Can I give that out?
Sure.
To the entire Detroit Lions team? Because I want to give it to Jared Goff. Jared Goff, since December, go look at his numbers. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. A game like yesterday, if we're going to be making determinations on guys this early in the season, he's 20 for 34, 256, 4 touchdowns. He looks very capable of leading this team to the playoffs.
Wow.
I mean, they're a good football team. Like yesterday was a big day for them. They beat a team they should have beat. That's good. Like last year when they won, everybody was like, look at the Lions. They might be good in a year. In just a year, you're like, oh, the Lions might be good right now.
It's such a perfect example of what a culture does.
Well, it's culture, it's players, it's Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's, having
a sun god on your team.
It's Aiden Hutchinson. I want to shout him out. He had a hat trick yesterday, which anybody trying to win an award needs a multiple sack game. And as Reed pointed out, the other guys that had multi-sack games, your guy,
Chip Banks
from wherever he's from,
Lawton, Oklahoma,
and Julius Peppers, who clearly Aiden Hutchinson is now going to be Julius Peppers. Like, they won the Rookie of the Year. Here's the thing I'll say about Aiden Hutchinson. These are hustle sacks, and he's rushing inside. So, let's not get carried away and say he's better than the kid in Jacksonville or that he's better than... this is just a great start for him. It's a great start. You need this start. If you want to win Defensive Rookie of the Year, I want to see him do it over and over again.
Frank Gore, mine goes to O'Shane Zimenez because y'all can't say his name still, and he's balling out for the 2-0 New York Giants. He's an ODU Monarch, by the way.
Yeah, he had to be big sad about the service dog.
Mine goes out to the my Miller Lite St. Louis Memorial Frank Gore Award.
Yeah, it's a mouthful.
Yeah, we're going to work on it. Yeah,
goes to the Jaguars front seven, containing Jonathan Taylor to 5 carries, 4 yards in the first half.
Incredible and terrible for my fantasy team.
Yeah.
Awful.
But you have Amon-Ra.
Yeah, I have Amon-Ra. Game ball, I'm giving it to Tua, man. Great day for the Dolphins and for Tua. I mean, fuck yeah. Happy to hand this one out.
I've got 2 game balls to give out.
Especially because I didn't bet the Ravens.
One of them is in a loss, and one of them is not in the sport of football. David Montgomery last night, 15 rushes, 122 yards, 8+ a carry, gives the Bears a chance to win. Unfortunately for him, it's not going to be in a win last night. And Max Homa, friend of the program, good buddy, PGA Tour player. He won the Fortnite Championship. I know that's not how you say it.
Did he really?
It's the Fortnite Championship.
Second year in a row that he won.
So Max
Defending
Homa is
champion.
somebody I've played with.
No, I know who.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's a good guy, right?
Great guy.
Yep.
He loves
Chipped
to. He
in
loves to.
on 18, and unfortunately, Danny Willett
Three-putt.
three-putted. But
It's not Willett.
Will it?
Danny Willett.
I think it's
Willett.
Willett. Danny Willett.
He's from the UK. He's from across the pond somewhere.
right.
I think it's Danny Willett.
David Wibbly.
David Wibbly.
All right, so we've got.
I drank
no,
my
we're not
first
gonna-
beer at a going away
Okay.
party for a guy named David Wibbly from South Africa.
South Africa.
Yeah,
He loved the Springboks.
Devin.
we would call the golfer Retief Goosen. He would say it's Retief Huessen. Yeah, it was badass.
I love that.
So I'll see your 15 for 122 and raise you 15 for 132. 2 touchdowns. My game ball goes to Aaron Jones last night with an honorable mention to Micah Parsons, because when you got the Cincy money line and there's only one guy you're worried about on that other side,
And he wrecks the thing
and
anyway.
he wrecked it.
And I just want to shout out myself here. Maybe a viewing party for the people at the Win. They're probably going to be calling me with like a fraud alert or like, hey, your password doesn't work anymore, because yesterday, 1 p.m.'s Detroit, Pittsburgh teaser, Ravens over 23, New Orleans, Tampa under, missed on Carolina, had Atlanta, had San Francisco, and then the Packers. I got to do the math here, but that looks like 7-1. Listen to the full podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast streaming platforms. Wherever you want to get the podcast, you can get the podcast. Pretty simple. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Podcasts get pretty wild. This is real tame.